the opportunity. Just changing tack, a couple of questions on reports of an Australian company, HDR Salva Resources Proprietary Limited, being involved in the development of a rare earth minerals mine in North Korea. Is DFAT aware of these reports?
Do you want me to take that, or do you want to start? Thank you, Senator Whish-Wilson. Katrina Cooper, Senior Legal Advisor. Yes, we are aware of reports. We've seen them, for example, on the ABC, that some companies and their activities.
Are Australians allowed to conduct business with the North Korean regime? Is it clear, or is it a bit murky?
Well, we have sanctions, but they are very specific sanctions. So determining whether a particular activity breaches Australian sanctions is considered on a case-by-case basis. And we need to obviously consider detailed information about the particular goods and the services of the persons and the entities with whom they're dealing, and the level of involvement in the activity. But generally speaking, mining operations in the DPRK per se by Australian companies would not be in a breach of Australian sanctions laws, but there may be situations where an Australian mining company has commercial dealings with the DPRK person or entities that are designated under Australian sanctions laws in conducting mining operations, and so there may be, in some instances, a breach of sanctions.
Have you enough information on this particular circumstance to make a judgment, or to put it another way, would you consider looking at this, investigating this on a case-by-case basis?
We take our sanctions obligations obviously very, very seriously, and we do assess any claims that come to our attention, however they come to our attention. Given the seriousness of that allegation, I wouldn't want to go into specifics on this particular case, but...
Would you confirm that you will investigate it?
We would definitely assess the claims. If it came to the point of an investigation, if you're talking about some kind of criminal investigation, that would then be a matter for the AFP.
So, sorry, okay, I won't be so specific with the word investigation, but if someone, I mean, I think the ABC's contacted you, for example, about this, but DFAT wouldn't comment. At what stage do you have a preliminary assessment rather than investigation, for example? Would that be something you would have an internal briefing on it?
Our general practice is to do an assessment when specific allegations of breaches are brought to our attention, and if we are concerned that there may be a criminal matter, then we refer it to the AFP. Okay,
so could you confirm that you've done an assessment on this particular issue?
Given the sensitivity of the matter and the seriousness of the allegations, Senator, I would prefer not to provide any further information on that specific matter. We're getting very close to public interest immunity questions there, I think.
Okay. Are there any restrictions imposed by the Australian government on Australians travelling to North Korea to conduct business?
There wouldn't be any general restrictions.
I can perhaps answer that. No, there are no travel restrictions on Australians going to North Korea.
Okay, or Australians being directors of companies operating in North Korea?
No, unless they were connected to a prescribed entity or individual.
Okay, so my understanding this is a rare earths or rare minerals deposit that's being mined, but that includes gold and silver, which are prescribed under sanctions. But that's still, I suppose, that relates directly to the operation rather than an individual. Would that be the case?
Well, in relation to the sanctioned DPRK, there are designated individuals and designated entities. So it depends on with whom, or if it's a case of an organisation, with what organisation individuals or companies are engaging with.
Okay, but you wouldn't look at, if you did an assessment, you wouldn't look at situations like broad things like labour standards, for example, issues with slave labour in North Korea or those sort of things wouldn't come into an
That doesn't
assessment.
come into our
It's just strictly
sanctions regime.
on the basis of sanctions. Okay, thank you. That's enough.
Thank you, Senator Whish-Wilson. We'll